In 1992, a farmer in China drained a pond and revealed a cavern over 30 feet deep carved entirely by hand. The problem? Archaeologists still have no record of who built these massive caves over 2,000 years ago. In 1992, scientists testing a 3,000-year-old Egyptian mummy discovered traces of nicotine and cocaine, but cocaine only grows in South America, nearly 6,000 miles away. Then in 2008, scientists discovered an entirely new human species from a single finger bone in Siberia, a species that lived for over 300,000 years, yet left behind almost no fossils at all. In 1986, archaeologists uncovered massive bronze masks in China, unlike anything seen in 3,000 years of history. The civilization that made them disappeared around 1200 BC, leaving almost no written records. And in Peru, archaeologists discovered skulls nearly 25% larger than a normal human skull. Some researchers believe they may represent a completely unknown population from over 2,000 years ago. History tells us civilization followed a predictable timeline, but these 8 discoveries suggest the past may be far more complicated than we ever imagined. In June of 1992, a farmer in China's Zhejiang province decided to investigate a local legend about a series of mysterious ponds. Locals believed the ponds were bottomless, but one man wanted to prove the story wrong, so he rented a water pump and spent 17 straight days draining the first pond. When the water finally disappeared, the bottom of the pond revealed something completely unexpected. Instead of mud or rock, there was a perfectly carved stone ceiling. Beneath the pond was a massive underground cavern nearly 30 feet deep. Every wall was carved with thousands of identical chisel marks, angled at exactly 60 degrees. The carvings were so consistent that they looked almost machine-made. But the biggest surprise came next. This wasn't just one cave. Archaeologists eventually discovered 24 massive caves hidden beneath the area. Each cavern covers nearly 1,000 square meters, with ceilings reaching 30 feet high. In total, workers would have removed more than 1 million cubic meters of rock. Yet strangely, no ancient Chinese records mention their construction. Archaeologists estimate the caves were built around 2,000 years ago, during the Qin or Han dynasty. The pillars are perfectly spaced to support thousands of tons of rock. The structural precision rivals engineering techniques developed centuries later. Even more puzzling, archaeologists found no tools, no pottery, and no human remains, which means we still don't know who carved these enormous chambers, or why such a massive project would be completely missing from historical records. A construction project involving thousands of workers simply vanished from history, and the Longyou caves remain one of the most mysterious discoveries of the 20th century. But if the Longyou caves challenge our understanding of ancient engineering, the next discovery may challenge our understanding of ancient trade itself. Nearly 13,000 feet above sea level in the Bolivian Andes stands one of the most mysterious monuments in South America, the ancient city of Tiwanaku, built more than 1,500 years ago. At the center of this site stands a single block of stone known as the Gate of the Sun. The monument stands nearly 10 feet tall and weighs an estimated 10 tons. It was carved from andesite, one of the hardest volcanic rocks on Earth. Yet the nearest quarry for this stone may be over 10 miles away, which raises an obvious question. How did ancient builders move a 10-ton stone block to this location? But the real mystery isn't the stone itself. At the top of the gateway is a carved figure, often called the staff god. Surrounding it are 48 smaller winged figures arranged in precise rows. Some researchers believe these carvings represent an astronomical calendar, a calendar that tracks solar cycles and seasonal changes with remarkable accuracy, meaning the builders were carefully observing the skies thousands of years ago. The Tiwanaku civilization flourished roughly between 500 AD and 1000 AD, but when explorers arrived in the 1800s, the monument was already broken. Local traditions even describe an ancient catastrophe that destroyed an earlier civilization. In fact, archaeologists have discovered stone structures beneath Lake Titicaca itself, suggesting parts of the region may have been flooded thousands of years ago. And all of this evidence raises another mysterious possibility. What if the Gate of the Sun was only one piece of a much larger lost city? A civilization that may have studied the skies long before recorded history. A stone calendar carved thousands of years ago, still standing in the Andes. But the next mystery doesn't involve stone monuments or ancient cities. In 1992, scientists studying a 3,000-year-old Egyptian mummy discovered traces of a substance that shouldn't have been there: cocaine. For more than 3,000 years, ancient Egypt has been one of the most studied civilizations in human history. But in 1992, a routine laboratory test on Egyptian mummies produced a result that stunned scientists. The tests were conducted by forensic toxicologist Svetlana Balabanova in Germany. She was analyzing hair samples from mummies that were over 3,000 years old, and the chemical results showed traces of nicotine and cocaine. That discovery created an immediate problem. The coca plant only grows naturally in South America, nearly 6,000 miles away from Egypt. According to conventional history, no contact existed between these continents before 1492, the year Christopher Columbus reached the Americas, which raises a strange question. Could the samples have been contaminated during testing? To answer that, researchers repeated the analysis on dozens of additional mummies. In some cases, the results showed similar traces again. The findings were published in scientific journals during the 1990s, but many researchers argued the results were likely caused by modern contamination. Others pointed out something more puzzling. Some samples reportedly contained cocaine metabolites, which normally form inside a living body. If accurate, that would mean the substance entered the body before death, which leads to a controversial possibility. Could ancient civilizations have crossed the Atlantic thousands of years earlier than we thought? Most historians say there is no solid evidence for such voyages, which leaves the cocaine mummy mystery still debated more than 30 years later. A chemical result that continues to challenge a very comfortable historical timeline. But the next mystery may suggest something even stranger. In the 1960s, a ceramic bowl discovered near Lake Titicaca appeared to contain writing from a civilization located over 7,000 miles away. The mysteries of our past continue to challenge the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Nearly 12,500 feet above sea level, Lake Titicaca sits in the Andes between Bolivia and Peru. For thousands of years, this high plateau has been home to ancient Andean cultures. Sometime during the late 1950s or early 1960s, a farmer reportedly uncovered an unusual ceramic bowl. Today, the object is known as the Fuente Magna bowl. On the inside surface are dozens of strange carved symbols. At first glance, they resemble cuneiform, one of the earliest writing systems on Earth. Cuneiform was developed in Sumer around 3,400 BC, in what is now Iraq. But Lake Titicaca lies nearly 7,000 miles away from Mesopotamia, on completely different continents, separated by the Atlantic Ocean. In the 1990s, several researchers attempted to analyze the inscriptions. Some suggested the symbols resembled Proto-Sumerian characters. One proposed translation described a ritual dedication to a Mesopotamian goddess, a culture that flourished over 5,000 years ago. If the inscription were authentic, it would raise a remarkable question. Could ancient civilizations have crossed the oceans thousands of years earlier than believed? Mainstream historians remain extremely skeptical. Many argue the bowl may have been misidentified or removed from its original context. Others say the symbols deserve further investigation because the markings clearly resemble a structured writing system, a writing system that appears thousands of miles from where it should exist. Whether coincidence, misinterpretation, or evidence of ancient contact, the next mystery suggests something even more extraordinary. Ancient texts written over 3,000 years ago in India describe machines capable of flying across the sky, machines called Vimanas. These legendary aerial vehicles are detailed in the Vimanaka Shastra, described as complex craft powered by mercury or fire. They hint at a level of technology that defies conventional history. Ancient India produced some of the longest epic texts in history, describing technology that defies time. The Mahabharata contains over 100,000 verses, detailing enormous battles from thousands of years ago. But some passages describe something unusual: flying vehicles capable of incredible speed. These Vimanas were said to travel between cities and were even used during warfare. One famous description refers to a weapon as bright as 10,000 suns, leaving a trail of destruction. Modern readers often compare these descriptions to nuclear weapons, a link even noted by J. Robert Oppenheimer. In 1945, the first atomic test produced a blast that echoed these ancient descriptions. While most believe these were symbolic myths, the detailed accounts continue to fascinate. Stories of mysterious craft soaring through the sky thousands of years ago. But the next mystery may be even stranger. Found across the ocean in Peru. In 1928, archaeologists uncovered skulls 25% larger than any normal human remains. Some researchers claim these remains show genetic markers not found in modern humans. Whether divine chariots or biological anomalies, these mysteries challenge our history. Two puzzles of our past, reminding us how much of our story is still left to discover. In 1928, archaeologists led by Julio Tello discovered a series of massive burial sites along the Paracas Peninsula of Peru. Inside, they found hundreds of mummies, but it was what lay beneath the wrappings that stunned the scientific world. These skulls were dramatically elongated, with a cranial volume nearly 25% larger than that of an average human. While many attribute this to ancient head binding, some skulls show unusual anatomical features that challenge this theory. Genetic tests in the early 2010s hinted at unusual markers, though the full results remain a subject of intense debate. But Peru isn't the only place with mysterious relics. In China, another discovery was waiting to be found. The Sanxingdui bronze masks, with their bizarre protruding eyes, belonged to a civilization that vanished 3,000 years ago. Like the skulls of Paracas, they remain some of the most striking human enigmas ever pulled from the earth. In 1986, construction workers digging near the city of Guanghan in Sichuan, China, made an unexpected discovery. Beneath the soil were two ancient sacrificial pits filled with thousands of artifacts, more than 1,000 objects made of bronze, gold, jade, and ivory. But the designs looked unlike anything ever discovered in ancient China. Some masks had enormous eyes extending nearly 6 inches outward. The largest masks measured nearly 4 feet wide. Archaeologists also uncovered a 2.6-meter-tall bronze statue, standing almost 8 feet high. The figure's hands are positioned as if holding an object that has long since disappeared. Another artifact was a massive bronze tree nearly 13 feet tall, decorated with birds and hanging ornaments. What shocked researchers most was the artistic style. These objects looked completely different from artifacts of the Shang dynasty, which existed around 1600 BC. The Sanxingdui culture thrived around 1200 BC, more than 3,000 years ago. Yet there were no written records describing the civilization that created them. Even stranger, many artifacts appeared to have been deliberately burned and buried. The bronze casting techniques were incredibly advanced for the period, creating sculptures that weighed hundreds of pounds. In 2021, archaeologists reopened the site and discovered even more artifacts, including a massive gold mask weighing over 280 grams, evidence of a powerful civilization that once flourished in the region. Yet by around 1100 BC, the Sanxingdui culture appears to have vanished, leaving behind thousands of artifacts, but almost no explanation. Masks with eyes staring outward across more than 3,000 years of history. But the final mystery may be the most shocking of all. In 2008, scientists exploring a cave in the Altai Mountains of Siberia discovered a tiny bone fragment, a discovery that revealed an entirely new species of human. In the remote Altai Mountains of Siberia, a cave sits nearly 2,300 meters above sea level. The cave is known as Denisova Cave, and it has been inhabited for more than 300,000 years. In 2008, archaeologists working at the site discovered a tiny bone fragment. The fragment was a finger bone belonging to a young girl who lived roughly 50,000 years ago. Scientists decided to extract DNA from the fossil. The results shocked the scientific community. The DNA did not match modern humans. It also didn't match Neanderthals. Instead, it belonged to an entirely unknown branch of humanity. Scientists named the species the Denisovans. Genetic evidence suggests Denisovans once lived across Asia and Southeast Asia. They lived alongside Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens more than 40,000 years ago. In fact, many modern humans still carry Denisovan DNA today. People living on the Tibetan Plateau, nearly 14,000 feet above sea level, inherited a Denisovan gene that helps them survive thin air. Indigenous populations in Melanesia and Papua New Guinea carry up to 5% Denisovan DNA. The cave also contained a polished stone bracelet, estimated to be nearly 50,000 years old. The bracelet was drilled with such precision that it resembles work done with modern tools. Yet we have only a handful of bones from the entire species. Just a finger bone, a few teeth, a jaw fragment, and small pieces of skull. Despite this tiny fossil record, Denisovans may have lived across a region spanning thousands of miles, a human species that shared the planet with us for tens of thousands of years, yet remained completely unknown until the 21st century, all revealed from a single bone discovered in 2008. From underground caves and ancient monuments to mysterious artifacts and lost human species, the past is filled with discoveries that challenge what we thought we knew about history. And every year, new discoveries continue to reshape our understanding of the ancient world. Sometimes the biggest surprises come from the smallest discoveries, a species of human we didn't even know existed, which makes you wonder, what other chapters of human history are still waiting to be discovered? Across thousands of years of history, discoveries like these continue to challenge what we thought we knew about the ancient world. From underground caverns carved over 2,000 years ago, to artifacts buried for more than 3,000 years. Each discovery is a reminder that the story of human civilization is far more complex than we once believed. Even in the 21st century, archaeologists continue uncovering new pieces of our past. Sometimes those discoveries come from massive monuments, And sometimes they come from something as small as a single bone, a tiny fossil that revealed an entire human species we didn't even know existed. Which raises an even bigger question. How many other discoveries are still hidden beneath deserts, forests, and oceans around the world, waiting quietly for the moment someone finally uncovers them? If you enjoy exploring the mysteries of ancient history, you're in the right place. This is Fact Story History, where the past still has stories left to tell.